Alright, man, what's going on YouTube? Wow, man. I had to chill out for a minute. I couldn't make no instant reaction video anyway. And like I said, I was gonna Charles Martin versus Anthony Joshua. I told you I was gonna watch the fight over my uncle's house. So anyway, it's like a rant, but I'm gonna just tell y'all a story. It's a funny thing, like hindsight is 2020, man. I'm telling you, hindsight is 2020. So I go to my uncle's house, and we, just chilling for a minute. The fight didn't even start yet, and he's laid back. You know what I'm saying? He's like, too cool for school. You know what I'm saying? Right? You know what I'm saying? So he's a real chill guy. Big guy himself. Not a small guy, but he a quiet guy, keeps to himself guy. But he had to lay hands on a few people, a few times himself and stuff like that. When he was younger, even as a grown man. But you know what I'm saying. So he's I would say he's a big guy, kind of like a gentle giant. So anyway, hey. The fight's about to start, right? And he's never heard of any of these dudes. He ain't hear of Charles Martin or Anthony Joshua or anything like that. And so he's just watching the fights just to be you say he's like a casual fan, And my uncle he's looking at Joshua, and he's looking at my guy. And he's pretty much sizing them up, you know what I'm saying? He's pretty much sizing them up. So he made a few comments here, about like Anthony Joshua, being kind of massive, muscular or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, it ain't nothing, man. The only reason he like lift weights or something like that because he thought he was gonna go to prison. And that dude ain't natural, Like my guy's like a natural big guy or whatever like that. This dude just like a bodybuilder, He probably wouldn't even have all those muscles if he wasn't lifting. You get what I'm saying? Like he wouldn't be all cut up, He probably be like a little definition, but he wouldn't be cut up, So anyway, this dude's just a bodybuilder, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. So man, I go ahead and I'm like anticipating for this fight, man. I'm like all like jittery and stuff like that because like bragging rights on the line because you got the UK versus America thing, and I can't wait to get up on this YouTube thing and start bragging. You know what I'm saying? Especially if Charles Martin win, man. I was about to go in and just start like saying God bless America, So I was gonna go and do all that stuff, right? So I was about ready to clown, and I was like, man. So I was like anticipating. So I was like, I went to the restroom and I read the newspaper. Long story short, I just read the newspaper real quick while they go and do their national anthem thing. And I come back, and my uncle, man, why do you have to say this? He's like, you know what? He's like, your guy looks scared. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, man, your guy looks scared. I was like, I'm just saying, he looks scared. I was like, man, he ain't scared. He called Joshua out. He's like, yeah, he might have called Joshua out, but I bet you when he when he met him face to face, he was thinking to himself, oh shit, what did I get myself into? That's what he said, man. Excuse my language, but that's what he said. He's like, man, what did I get myself into? And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, nah, man, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm still like in denial and everything. I was like, nah, he ain't scared, man. And this is so funny because, hindsight being 2020, what was that? Boxing Beats and Rhymes was mentioning some stuff like he looked jittery or something like that in the weigh-in. I'm like, whatever, man, I'm like, yeah, whatever, I think so. I'm thinking to myself when I'm like listening to his video or something. So I'm like, yeah, like he all right, But now looking back at it, I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, you know, Charles Martin supposed to be a quiet guy, and I'm like, man, he doing a whole lot of talking and stuff like that. It's like it got to a point where it's like, man, is he trying to convince us or is he trying to convince himself? Because Bermain Stavern, he too start talking a lot of stuff because Deontay Wilder, he like to talk that smack. Deontay Wilder talk that smack all day. And like, I'm gonna send this Haitian on permanent vacation and whatnot. And Bermain Stavern got into verbal jabs with him. Excuse me, man. He got into verbal jabs with him and stuff like that. And I was like, man, that's out of character. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was thinking to myself. It's out of character for him to do that. I was like, man, he's really emotionally involved in this. He gonna lose to Deontay Wilder. I was like, man, I was thinking he probably got a chance, but now I'm thinking, it's like, man, he gonna lose because he emotionally invested in this and he's got out of character. And so, just looking into all the build up and stuff like that, man, for me myself, I was emotionally wrapped up in this too. I have to be honest, man, I was ignoring all the telltale signs that maybe Martin probably just bit off more than he can chew. Cause I was like, man, I just want him to win, man. Anthony Joshua beat up Dillian. And then Anthony Joshua. I was sipping a little haterade, on Anthony. I ain't gonna lie, it's probably still there, but I was like, you know what? I ain't really. How can I really enjoy boxing? Sipping on that haterade. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna go too much into that. But I'm hating on it a little bit. But now it's like, you know what? It is what it is, man. He the IBF champ. If he wins, he wins. If he lose, he lose. I'm just gonna have to just enjoy the fight. You know what I'm saying? He on top right now. So, but anyway, so I had a little bit of that going on, and I definitely wanted the bragging rights. Man. But anyway, man, I'm up here thinking to myself, I made that video, right, talking about, like, man, the prey versus, the hunter versus the prey, and how, Charles Martin was calling out Anthony Joshua. And, man, dude, I broke my own cardinal rule, man. Cause, I'm always talking about, the financial part of, like, boxing. I always mix into that. I was like, yeah, that makes sense because you want to make that money. And it popped up. It kept coming up while he wanted to go against Anthony Joshua, but I was trying to ignore it. I'm thinking like, yeah, man, he picked Anthony Joshua because he can beat this dude. I'm like, yeah, he can beat him, man. He didn't look too bad versus Glasgow. He looked like he had a little foot moving and stuff like that. And I seen him in other fights too. But I was like, yeah, but what do we really know about Anthony Joshua? You know what I'm saying? The dude's like a stiff. He could punch and everything like that, but he ain't nothing like Deontay as far as like doing the footwork off the back foot and setting up dudes for knockouts like he did, like Wilder did Szpilka and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm thinking like, yeah, man, this dude's got a shot. Yeah, Martin, you gotta show these dudes that you ain't no chump, because everybody's making all these damn plans and shit for, excuse my language, but he's making all these darn plans for Joshua, and they already gave him the belt. You might as well just gave him the belt. But that's pretty much what happened. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking that's pretty much what happened. It's because of the money, man. He went over there because of the whole darn money, man. I looked at the behind the ropes thing. I'm not sure who produced it, with Charles Martin and stuff like that. He's like, man, this is what I do. I gotta feed my family and stuff like that. So it was a business decision. But what really caught me off guard is a Showtime promo where Eddie Hearn was like, oh, they gave us a call. It's like they gave us a call, and I would have thought he would have gone to Wilder for a unification bout. And I had mentioned that too. And not only Wilder, but Dominic Breazeale. I was like, yeah, man, that made sense because Al Heyman got those guys. But you know what? At the end of the day, and now thinking about it, this whole lawsuit versus Al Heyman, I don't think it's going to pan out because Now, if Al Heyman was in control, he would have. I mean, he probably would have had Wilder fight Charles Martin at a later date, set up a super fight here. But looking into it, the bigger picture, what's he trying to do? What was Al Heyman trying to do? He's trying to go into the UK market with the PBC. And who does he need to rub shoulders with? The promoters over there. So it's all kind of like coming together now. I think about it. I was like, okay, it would be a bigger fight. You know what I'm saying? It would be a bigger fight if Deontay Wilder comes through, beats Alexander Povetkin, and they got an IBF champion over there in the UK, and maybe Premier Boxing Championship can get over there, and maybe they can showcase they in the Premier Boxing Championship with Deontay Wilder, maybe going in the UK and fight Anthony Joshua. But the writing was on the wall, man. The writing was just on the wall, man. But that threw me off when Eddie Hearn said that. Oh yeah, man. We thought Charles Martin be like a sacrificial lamb for Deontay Wilder, or he could have just fought Dominic Breazeale, which would have made sense. Because Dominic Breazeale is highly ranked, but I don't even think he's highly ranked in the IBF, or even ranked at all. But man, what else? Well, I'm missing something here. I lost my train of thought, man. Let me think about it. Oh yeah, man, the Espinoza dude. Yeah, so. Oh, and then they had Showtime. I was just reading an article. You know, Mr. Boxing Today came out and said, "Oh, Stephen Espinoza said they want what's his name? Who's it, boy? Anthony Joshua to be the new Mike Tyson and stuff like that." And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, whatever. But now just looking back at it, man, hindsight being 2020. I mean, all the stars were aligned for Charles Martin to go in there and just lay down, man. Look like he just lay down. And then they made him look like a bad guy with the gangster music coming out and like that stupid old crown and stuff like that. And his gold teeth, whatever. I ain't know this dude had gold teeth. I must have missed that in that Glasgow fight. I didn't see none of that. But anyway, yeah, man. Just like it just seemed like a big old setup. But on top of that, with Stephen Espinoza, Showtime, CBS, Al Heyman, Premier Boxing Champion. So I don't know how that's gonna work out. Maybe just a separate entity. But as far as like Al Heyman running things, I maybe not. Maybe he's pulling every string, or maybe he's just working. He's got a team together, but I don't. It just seems too perfect that this dude's got a belt. Now, as far as the fight, yeah, man, it was a really good fight, man. It was a really good fight. As far as it being just a knockout, I mean, the dude knocked the dude out. That's all you can ask for is, a heavyweight fight can knock out. But I'm not trying to be negative on this one. But man, I thought I listened to Dwyer, right? He said in the post fight, I didn't see the post fight. He said in the post fight interview that Martin had is that Martin didn't see the right hand, which was interesting enough to me because I was like, man, in the first round, you were slipping him. Now that you had your glove up, he was like, to me, it looked like he was catching him. That's what I saw. But maybe that's because he wasn't throwing his jab or something like that. Because it looked like he got countered with the jab. Got countered with the right hand where he tried to jab in a second. And there was 2 knockdowns. Excuse me, it was 2 knockdowns. And then all of a sudden, Charles Martin takes his sweet time getting up, smiling and everything. And he gets up at 10.5. Instead of actually at 9 or 10, he gets up at 10. I was kind of upset, but at the end of the day, thinking about what my uncle said, I was like, and thinking about the whole financial thing and stuff like that. Maybe Charles Martin really believed that he even had a chance of beating Anthony Joshua. Excuse me, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, just looking back at it, man, the dude probably didn't even have a chance in the world. But you know what? He got up in there. He got up in there. You know, the odds weren't too off. It wasn't like it was a 30-1 or nothing like that. It was like, I think it was like 1-5 Joshua and maybe like 9-1 in favor of 9-1 Martin. But it's all right, man. He got up in there. He made his money. He sold it to me, man. I thought he sold me. I was emotionally invested. He sold me, man. But yeah, it's all about the money at the end of the day. Because yeah, this is why I didn't want to mess with the Eddie Hearn thing. Eddie Hearn had said in the paper, was like, man, Martin just coming over here to get a payday. And a lot of other guys were saying that too. A lot of other guys in the UK, Carl Frock, I believe, mentioned it. And a few other guys like, man, he just coming over here to get the payday. That's what makes sense. Anthony Joshua, he's selling out arenas. This dude, why mess it up getting a mandatory, get knocked out in a mandatory when you can just come over here in a voluntary and get paid more? Makes more sense. And it does, man. Charles Martin got 2 good paydays, man. Charles Martin got 2 big paydays. Warrior Boxing put up a lot of money. They put up a lot of money for to promote his fight with Glashkov, and they didn't have to put up any money on this fight, but I'm sure they got a lot of money. Eddie Hearn said he got a split, man, split of the pay-per-view. So whatever they did on pay-per-views, Charles Martin gets a piece of that. But yeah, man, I think it's true, man. He just came over here for a paycheck. He came over to the UK for a paycheck. But that's what it's about anyway, you know what I'm saying? I just thought he had a chance to win. I just really thought he had a chance to win. But even though he did, I didn't expect that, man. I didn't expect like 2 straight rights. And the dude just lay down because he wasn't knocked out. He wasn't knocked out. I guess he missed the count or something like that, but he wasn't knocked out. So, he was conscious. It doesn't mean, Dillian White was even buzzed, but he kept on pumping that jab and making something happen. And I think Dillian White shorter than Charles Martin. A little bit more athletic, though. And, yeah, man, so I'm going to end it right there, man. I was just like, whatever, man. I was anticipating having some bragging rights and stuff like that, but that ain't even happen. But all right, man. Thanks for listening. Yeah, leave a comment or whatever like that. Yeah, let me know what y'all think. As far if you're if you're an Anthony Joshua fan, or if you're a Charles Martin fan, let me know what y'all think. Like, who's next? Who's next? You think Charles Martin? I think Charles Martin probably he'd be best served by facing a Dominic Brazil. He's a former champion, only lost once. I'm sure there's a lot of guys that would like to have a Charles Martin, like a former champion, on their record. So we'll see what's up next for Charles Martin. He didn't look too badly hurt, but maybe he can get back in the game somehow. Maybe he can get a WBF belt. A South Africa belt. But all right, man. I think that's it for Charles Martin. He's gonna do something else. He's gonna do something else. He's got a chance to grow, man. The dude's 29 years old. He's got a chance to get better. And then you never know what happens. We don't know what's gonna happen a year from now, 3 years from now. The landscape of boxing is always gonna be changing. So he stays in the game long enough, he'll probably have another title shot somewhere else. You still got some smaller trinkets. You got the IBO, the WBF, smaller trinkets and whatnot. As far as Anthony Joshua, he's got a plan, man. He's got a team. He's got a plan. They went on and took this fight, and I guess he's gonna. Yeah, I mean, he's got a mandatory coming up, whether he likes it or not. It's supposed to be the Joseph Parker Takam winner, or either the who was it? Derek Chisora. Well, damn, who? Oh yeah, Derek Chisora versus who was that? Pulek. Yeah, get some Pulek. Yeah, I think it's Pulek. Like Kubrick Pulek or something like that. The Russian dude. I think he's Russian. I think he's fighting out of Germany. But anyway, yeah, those guys are fighting for the number 1 and 2 spots in the IBF. So we'll see what's up, man. All right, man. I'll catch y'all later. Bye.